faces on the dark. I was scared of pretty girls and starting conversations. All my friends are turning green. Yeah, the magicians assist in their dream. Oh, and they come unstuck. Running down to the riptide, taken away to the dark side. I wanna be your left-hand man. I love you when you're singing that song, yeah. I got a lump in my throat 'cause you're gonna sing the words wrong. It's this movie that I think you like. This guy decides to quit his job and head to New York City. This cowboy's running from himself. She's been living on the highest shelf. Oh, and they come unstuck. Running down to the riptide, taken away to the dark side. I wanna be your dad. Yeah, I love you when you're singing that song. Yeah, I got lump in my throat 'cause you're gonna sing the words wrong.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Oh, fireside chats with Andy going on
Morning.
bright and early. Nice
sets
job.
the
All
tone.
right. Well, we have got some exciting stuff set ahead for everybody, so we will jump in and get ready right away. Let's hop to our next screen. Everybody, hopefully, if you have not already, we are family reunion, 20 days, so many hours, 33 minutes. This was this morning, so we are 20 days away from family reunion. We have sat down yesterday, Jordan, Heather, myself. We've got some really exciting stuff planned for the Market Center, so we are hoping that everybody will really take advantage of this great opportunity with family reunion being digital this year. Gives up that more opportunity for people to join us. We'll have things going on in the Market Center. On Monday from 2 to 4, we'll have a welcome party here at the Roseville Market Center. So you'll want to definitely hop in for that. Throughout that whole, basically between now and that kickoff of the welcome party, we're also going to have things happening in the Market Center where you can win prizes and different things for those big events. And we'll give more on that each day. You'll see something. Tuesday, we will do the visions. Move this, and I apologize. There we go. Tuesday, we'll be doing the vision speech here at the Market Center. And actually in each Market Center, also over in Highland, we'll have them playing on all the screens, but we'll have different activities going on. We'll have vendors and so forth here on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we'll also have vendors here in the Roseville Market Center. There'll be breakout sessions throughout the day, each day that we'll be playing on the big screen. So be sure to join us for those. And there'll be a lot more between now and then, again, information coming out. And then Thursday, we're hoping everybody can join us for the morning inspiration, and that will be held at the Highland Park Market Center. So again, we'll have breakfast, different activities and things for everybody that can join us, and that will be over in Highland. So we're hoping that everybody will join us over there because that's where we will be that morning. So make sure if you have not, we'll hit to the next screen. If you have not yet purchased your tickets, while we're on the Zoom call this morning for the team meeting, be sure to go down in the chat box, put your name and say, I'm a winner. And everybody that does that will be able to get an $80 ticket. So that'll save you $39 off the regular ticket price. So if you do that today, you will also get a scratch off with that. So our host, Heather, has purchased some amazing scratch off tickets. I'm pretty sure there's at least a $5,000 winner in there. She kind of felt that way when she was driving back with those. So I'm feeling pretty confident one of you will be sharing with us that $5,000 winning. So just want to make sure we put that out there. But just kind of just really keep watching your emails and different posts that'll be out between now and family reunion itself for all the different things that we're going to be doing. Again, you guys, this is a huge opportunity to be able to do family reunion and see what happens. And I think part of the excitement is when you're doing it as a group. So we are going to open things up in the market center a little bit. Everybody will be wearing masks in every room that we're in, but there'll be different rooms that will be showing different things. So we really hope that you will take that opportunity to come in, join the group, learn together, listen together, as well as obviously do it from home for those of you that want to. But we really want to try and get all that back together and really get that whole feeling of family reunion going on. And lots of prizes because it is casino themed. So make sure that you probably have a better chance of winning if you're right smack dab here in the market center with us. But yes, put your
Carrie,
names in the chat box, get your $80 tickets. You'll just be invoiced next month. We'll get you ordered right away for an $80 ticket. And yeah, $39 savings. I think that's a pretty good deal, plus your scratch off.
Carrie, I was going to say to that point.
Mark Esperson on this morning with Minnesota Title. Mark.
Hey, good morning. I think Andy had something to say here before I jump in.
Oh, I might not have heard him.
Andy?
Yeah, so I was going to say on family reunion, just a point, we were on a leadership regional call yesterday, and there's going to be some really important and well-discussed information by Gary Keller's State of the Real Estate Industry speech, some of which is getting into Zillow and some of our competitors. So that's yet another reason why you want to attend family reunion. There's going to be a lot of good information talked about by Gary and some of the leadership in this company. So just want to make that point.
All right. Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, hey, so thank you for allowing me a few minutes to be in here today. It's good to see everybody again. And again, last Thursday was a cool event, and I'm glad I could be a part of it. Congratulations to everybody. But so I want to talk about when you get out there and talking to your clients, and especially new agents talking to their clients about their ID and bringing their ID and the importance of bringing a valid ID. Right now, currently, it's tough to get an ID if it's expired to get it renewed. My wife and I moved and we had to make an appointment. I made it in October and our first available date was December 31st to get in there and get our address changed. So if they don't have an ID that's valid, bring a passport. But it's important to have those conversations about valid IDs and if they're married to each other. And I know that sounds crazy, but last summer we had a guy going through divorce, selling a house, and brought his girlfriend in and tried to swing her in as the wife until we grabbed the IDs and made copies of them. And then, needless to say, that didn't close that day. It took a little while to get through all that. It did close. The ex-wife was furious, but she did sell the house because she wanted to be done with him. So that all worked out in the end. But so have those conversations. We had another example where a couple that was married, got divorced, then got back together years later and we're buying a house, but we didn't know any of this and they weren't married buying the house together. We just assumed they were married. So we had to scramble to get that done. So I know it sounds ridiculous. I know it sounds crazy, but have those conversations about valid IDs. Are they married and are they married together? And, things will go a lot smoother. And then also today at 10 o'clock, right after this meeting, we're having a class with a doctor, a psychologist out of Arizona, who's going to help talk about how to differentiate or die and set yourself apart from other agents out there and how to market. So should be really good. I think I sent it out to the office to share with everybody. So hopefully you can jump in on that. That's all I have today. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great week.
Good input.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, thank you, Mark. All right, upcoming market center trainings.
Oh,
What do we
me?
got?
Okay. Today at 12 p.m. we have KW Connect getting started with team functionality in Command. And another great one this week, Thursday at 11 a.m. there is going to be a 36 touch with Jen Minder. So I'll be sure to send out a reminder and put it out on the Facebook page for the 36 touch. You won't want to miss that. Jen's great at hosting those. And make sure to check out Roseville Connect for all the Zoom links and all the other information for the training. Okay, now we're gonna do just listed, coming soon, buyer needs, open house help. Share with us, what do you have?
Take
Anybody?
yourselves out mute. Let's hear what you got.
I have a buyer need for 450, but it's got to be as close as possible to the Lima Lakes target. Non-contingent, pay their own closing costs, good buyer.
Target.
They have a handicapped son that works at the Target, so
Oh,
location is really
we all
important.
just like to shop.
No. So if anyone has something, I would love to see it.
I have a pre-market on a Egan single-family home, in-ground pool, 5-bed, 3-bath, 400K. Not going to be listed until it's vacant in about a month, but they are open to pre-market. Also have a duplex that's coming soon, fixer-upper, 187K, West Side St. Paul.
I'll spring up. I have a kind of a super nice 6-unit apartment facility with an attached vacant duplex coming on off of Nicollet and Lake, of all places. But it's probably one of the nicer multifamily properties in that entire area. It's top to bottom, unbelievably gorgeous. Pre-market, gonna go on in probably a month for 1.6 million. And so it's basically a 4-unit with a 5th unit added in the basement and a carriage house in the back, plus a vacant, gutted, adjacent duplex. What do you got, Chad? Where's that Chad here? There he is.
I might have something. If not, we'll find it for you.
Good answer, buddy. You want to tell them about Uptown?
I'd love to tell everybody about Uptown. Who's got, maybe around $7 million to be able to spend on an incredible corner, 28th and Hennepin? Cash flowing portfolio property there. Could be redevelopment too. I'll shoot more info. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put the build out link in the chat box for you guys. How's that sound?
So if anybody's familiar with the Ace Hardware in Uptown, that entire corner, which includes Kindu, the UPS store, Hirschfield Paints, etc. Chad and I have had that listed for a bit for $7.5 million. Owners are open to all reasonable offers. It's a big redevelopment opportunity in the heart of Uptown.
Very nice.
Yeah, I'll throw the link in the chat box for everyone. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, guys.
All right, anyone else have anything? Open house help you need?
This is Steve. I might mention we've got a new listing coming up in the Como area that will hit in about 10 days, maybe a week, 10 days. Cute 3-bedroom, 1-bath, big 2-car garage, 229. Again, it'll be probably within a week or 10 days.
Nice.
229, how much work needed, Steve?
Not really much at all. I mean, in that area, might no surprise, it's a 80 or 90-year-old building, but it's in really very nice condition. It's not big. I think it's probably about 1,000 or 1,100 square feet, story and a half, 3 beds, 1 bedroom on the main floor, 2 bedrooms up in kind of a cool loft area.
That sounds like a good deal, man.
Yeah, I think so too.
You said that one is coming on next week?
I'd say yes, certainly the first week of February or so.
Okay. Coming soon status, or are they open to pre-market?
No, it's open. It is not coming soon status at this moment.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else? And again, if hop on the KWIR Rockstar page, if you are looking to hold opens or you need someone to hold your open. I know a lot of weekends roll around and we've got a lot of new agents who would definitely be interested in either tagging along or doing an open. So definitely post those if you are looking for or are interested in doing an open house. We want to make sure we get that out there. There's Mr. Sunshine. Happy go lucky. All right. And next we have our bucket fills. Gratitude, something for someone else. So please feel free to share and recognize.
I would love to fill a couple of buckets. Mr. Steve Highland and Andy Noble, they are on board with me and pushing me to get my profit share to a level, another bucket of passive income for me and my family. So thank you for pushing me and holding me accountable. And together we're gonna be building 3+ buckets of passive income that'll pay for travel to Europe, college, and getting out of the rat race.
Good job, Chad.
Nice.
Yeah, great job, bro.
We're all gonna rock it. Thanks for your help.
You guys, we've all got to be very grateful for the leadership team, in my opinion, who put together that Rosie's Award evening. I know that took a lot of time, a lot of planning, a lot of work. I was just awestruck by the value that we all got from that. I thought it was terrific. So nice job up and down the hallway in Roseville.
Great.
I second that, and I also have to give a bucket fill to Shannon Heyer, who is building a world-class transaction management program in the Market Center. I hear nothing but positive comments from the agents. I won't name who said this, but last week I had an agent tell me, brought up Shannon's name and the fact that he has changed his entire business, just completely transformed it and made it.
Oh, he stopped, but he was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, Shannon, great job, buddy.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Andy.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
congratulations, Shannon, on a great program and all that you put into it. Because I heard that from a lot with everybody stopping
Can you
in,
pull out a
grabbing
hamburger?
pizzas. I heard a lot of
So I can
thanks
make,
for what you do for the agents.
Oh, happy to hear that. Thanks, guys.
I would love to give a shout
Thank
out to Jason and Shane. Thank you for kicking off an amazing mastermind last week on, I think that was Wednesday or Thursday. I apologize. There'll be more coming out for those going forward, but thank you guys. You led a great mastermind, and I think everybody was very appreciative of that event. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. It was fun.
I've got a quick shout out here, bucket fill, for Samantha Benzikar. She's not on the call today, I don't believe, but she's a newer agent. She won an offer battle for her first transaction for her first client, and that just got wrapped up this weekend. So big shout out to her. She did a fantastic job.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a big deal.
Yes.
Yep.
Nice.
Fantastic.
I want to also second Shannon. Good God, transaction coordinator superstar.
Oh, thanks, Karen.
So fast at responding. Like, it's just, I love that. I love when someone responds to an email right away and says, okay, I got this, I'm on it. Thanks, got it. He's just quick, and he's just been a godsend to me as I'm trying to get my whole situation figured out this year. So thank you, thank you.
Oh, thanks, Karen. Happy to help.
And Heather has been phenomenal as well. She's actually helping me try and sell a desk. So I've got an IKEA desk, by the way, for sale, and a chair. So if anyone's interested, please hit me up. And also bucket fill to Andy. You've been extremely supportive this year so far with all the changes that I've been going through. So thank you very much, Andy, for the emotional support.
Glad to do it.
I would also like to throw out a bucket fill for Heather. as I've been here, I'm learning and seeing more and more of the things she does, but it just amazes me as like yesterday I'm walking by and she's showing me something. And I'm like, oh, and you're also creating logos. And now, you know, yes, she's selling furniture, not just Karen's, but other furniture. It's like every time you turn, I'm just like, all right, you're just amazing. So, and with kids at home. So it just blows my mind. But thank you, Heather, for everything you do for the Market Center and for everybody, all of us. We appreciate it.
I would agree.
Absolutely. And Heather's going to be launching a used car sales lot out in the parking lot this spring.
So if your car's accidentally gone, sorry.
Now that the Packers are out of the Super Bowl.
Oh, we got to give her something to do.
It's a touchy subject.
It is touchy.
I think now we are ready for our main speaker. So Karen Collins, take it away.
Hey, it helps if you can hear me, right? So I'm going to try and make this not boring because sometimes we all have a tendency to zone out. So I want to try and make this interactive as well. So I don't know about you guys that have been in the business for a while, but my method of operation in terms of going to listing appointments has really changed a lot. It's evolved. And I think it depends a lot on what kind of market that we're in, right? Has anyone been pretty consistent with their listing presentations and stuff, or do you guys see that changing, evolving? Because mine has. And I'm going to share.
I'd say it's always, I'd say many things stay the same, but you have to evolve and move forward and accept the changes of the industry and that kind of thing. So, yeah.
I think what's really interesting right now is I feel like because the way that the market has been, anyone can put a house on the market and it sells pretty much. So how on earth, if we're in competition with other agents, how do we compete? Because pretty much anyone can list a house. How do we stand out and so forth? What are some things that you guys, what brought you on to, this meeting, and what sorts of things do you guys want to hear about or answers to, or what are some important things you want to get out of this? So I make sure that I'm covering that.
Karen, I'd like to hear something that we covered in a pod meeting recently on the Odd Couple team. How do you respond to the objection of, and you already said it, anyone can give me multiple offers on this thing. Why don't I go with a 4% broke?
Yep.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I would like to know, how do you object the commissions? Because a lot of people offer more things than others, but I'm being seen from 3% to 7%, and it's a huge difference. So I don't know how to deal with that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay.
I've got one more quick one.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Do you approach a referral lead, a sphere lead, differently than say a cold call lead or something that comes in from an online ad or something like that? Is there a distinction in how you approach those two?
That's a good question. Okay.
I was going to ask, if people say they're going to meet with additional realtors, how do you handle that?
Okay. Anything else? So kind of starting from the beginning, and I'm going to cover this kind of quickly because, again, I want to keep this exciting. One of the things that I have harped on my agents on my team and that I've coached in the past is making sure that we're preparing before we go in. I'm guilty oftentimes of shooting from the hip And that isn't necessarily the most effective way to go into an appointment. So I want to be able to prepare in some capacity. So what I typically do is I do have a pre-list questionnaire, and for some of you that have coached with me before, I've gone through that, and it's pretty extensive. And as of recent, I've actually cut that down significantly. So I do ask a few questions of that seller before I get to the appointment. And basically, I just want to know a few things. I just want to make sure that I know what the property is like before I get there. I want to see if there's been any changes made to the property. So then when I'm doing a CMA, I'm not going to be surprised by something unexpected, like an extra bedroom that was added on or extra square footage or whatever. So I just want to do a little bit of a questionnaire, find out ahead of time about that property, and maybe a couple questions about, you know, why are they moving, and get a little bit of an idea of, you know, what their motivation is and when they're thinking of selling. But I keep it pretty simple and pretty quick. I do a quick CMA before I go. I just want to look at the neighborhood, see some comps, just get a ballpark idea, see if there's any pictures of the house that was from a previous listing, so I have some sort of idea of what I'm getting myself into. One of the mistakes, I don't know if I want to call it, mistake might be a strong word, but one of the changes that I've made to also recently is to my listing packet. There's a lot of listing packets out there, and neither are right or wrong. I've definitely shortened mine. I've realized that people don't often look at those things very closely. So I actually created a summary sheet that is pretty much my listing packet in just a couple of points. On the summary sheet, it just talks about how long I've been in business, my average sales price is, what my sales price versus the actual list price ratio is, my average days on market, some just really quick statistics that will give people a basic idea of the fact that I've got some experience. I know what I'm doing, you know, when they meet with me, you know, I get it. I've got some good stats to back me up. If you don't have those stats yet, just use the Market Center stats. You can talk to Jordan or Heather about getting those statistics and just using those as a part of what your team is doing. So I just send a quick cheat sheet. I send over a list of what I've sold, my previous transactions that I've sold, and I keep it pretty basic and simple, so they just don't have a whole lot to look over. And then I think a lot of it is mindset. I've lost a lot of listings. We all do. I think if agents that have been in the business for a while, say they get every listing that they have an appointment with, I to bow down to them and pick up on whatever magic that is, because we all lose, you know, for some reason or another, and for various reasons. So if you do end up losing one, don't beat yourself up over it, because it happens to all of us. In fact, sometimes I like to talk to like Corby or even, you know, Jason, Shane, someone in the office, just to find out that they're human too, because that makes me feel a little bit better that, you know, we're all gonna lose out on something for some reason. But if you go in with the mindset of, you know, that you're the best person for the job and you're confident about that, and you go in, here's a big one, go in with a plan. When you go in to meet with the seller, they want to know that you can sell their house. So you've got to have some sort of plan. And it's not an elaborate plan. I just go through the step-by-step process. Here's exactly what I'm going to do when you sign with me. And that's all I need to do. And that seems to work, and not get too carried away with anything else, you know, keep it quick and easy. So the commission thing, I've lost a lot of listings because I've had other agents that will walk in and say, I'll do it for a lot less. Sometimes I can fight that, and sometimes there's nothing I can say that's going to change their minds. One of the things that I've made a mistake about in the past is I actually lost out on $1 million listing because I stuck to my guns and said I wouldn't go beyond my regular commission on it. And I kind of regret that, actually. even 4% on $1 million listing would be pretty good. And I think I probably should have shown a little more flexibility on that. Other than that, if we're looking at a standard $300,000-$400,000 listing, 250 listing, I am pretty confident that you do get what you pay for. So when I do have people say, you know, I've got another agent that's willing to do it for 4%, I'll say, okay, cool. Are they willing to do everything that I said I'm willing to do for that 4%? Would you rather sign with someone saying that you'll pay less, but then in the end you actually sell it for less too, because they're not doing all the things that I'm willing to do? Does that make sense?
Yes.
What are you guys, any chance you would be willing to show or speak to a list of things? Oh, heck yeah, absolutely. So basically what I tell people when I sit down with them is our marketing plan. My marketing plan is a week system. Every week as in a week long, not like week as in not strong. I list all my properties on a Friday, and I'm very strategic about that. I do coming soon on Monday. Starting on Monday, I do all of my social media stuff. And so in terms of social media, I'm doing a very nice professional post and link. I tell people I'm a member of at least 2 closed Facebook agent sites where that consists of the highest producing agents in the Twin Cities. I'm posting coming soon to them. I'm posting coming soon on my 2 Facebook pages, my personal and my business. I'm doing a Facebook marketplace ad. I do a Facebook paid ad with certain keywords that, you know, I'm connecting to that ad. I do Instagram posts. I'm doing as much as I can social media wise on day 1, starting Monday with coming soon. I actually have an ISA named Louie, who's outstanding. He's my secret weapon. And Louie will get on the phone and he will prospect for buyers and listings based on that listing. So if we get a listing, for example, that's a townhouse listing that I have had recently in St. Paul, we're really focusing on the areas in St. Paul that are rental properties, because we want to talk to other investors that might be interested in buying something in that complex because you can rent it out. We're talking to single family homeowners that might want to downsize. We're talking to apartment buildings where people want to maybe move out of an apartment and start home ownership. So Louis makes on average about 600 dials a day and has on average about 120 conversations a day with people that he's prospecting to find buyers. We do door knocking. We then are doing coming soon. Sometimes I do it on Craigslist. It depends on what the listing is for. So basically I tell them that we're spending that entire week prior to Friday prospecting for buyers for them, because most agents just put a sign in the yard on any random day of the week and then they wait for people to come. I'm a control freak. That's not good enough for me. I like to be able to grab those buyers, prospect for them, hold on to them and have them wait until Friday. So then all of a sudden when the sign goes in the yard and it goes live on the MLS, we've got this rush of people coming in on Friday and they're all seeing each other at the same time. They have that sense of urgency. They get excited rather than see everything kind of trickle in. We're sending that rush right away. And then that also means that we're grabbing all of these viable buyers and they're coming to see it within that first weekend. Then all of a sudden come Monday, we set a deadline for highest and best. And my sellers only have that weekend to leave and to show the place. And then hopefully by Monday afternoon, we're done. And so there's a huge perk to that because it's less hassle for them. And, you know, we're not taking the first offer that comes along. We are setting a deadline ahead of time so that then they're able to receive multiple offers and negotiate and be in that driver's seat. Most agents are not willing to do that work. I am. And because of that, my average list to sell price is about 105%. And it's because I'm willing to do that work up front. Whereas a lot of the average out there right now, I think is about 99, depending on the city, 99, 100%. If you pay me 6% versus someone else 4%, seller, let's calculate what the difference is. Depending on the list price, that could be a difference of $1,500, $2,000. Are you willing to save $2,000, but then potentially sell your house for a lot less? Or would you be willing to pay me an extra $2,000 and then get 105% of your list price? So I feel really confident that what I have to provide is definitely worth what I charge. If that other agent at 4% is willing to do all of those things, then I'll frickin' match that for sure. But if they're not willing to work as hard as me, then I'm not, I need to be compensated for that work. I have those conversations a lot. I just did actually with this listing I have up right now. It's a condo listing in Minneapolis. And I was up against another agent at 4%. And it was really hard for that other agent to argue, the seller went back to them and said, are you willing to do all this also for 4%? And the agent like, no. So I got the job. Any questions about that?
Great advice, Karen.
Karen, for example, right now, when the clients say, in this market, the property was sold anyways. So how do you answer that? I know you say something, but more directly, how do you redirect that question when they say the market is so hot anyways? So I know my house is good,
Exactly. If it'll sell anyhow, yeah, well, will it sell for as much as I would sell it for?
Sounds like you're
I have a
better
comment.
negotiator,
I have a comment on that as well that I guess I will just contribute. And this is Shane, by the way, my dog is up on screen. So, it's one thing to sell a home. It's another thing to get it to close. And there's so many things throughout the journey that have to be navigated that someone with a skill set like mine or like Karen's or yours or whoever, you can anticipate things before they might happen. And your average agent who's getting paid so much less, they've moved on to another deal and they're all about volume. And to be able to anticipate all of the sharp turns and the U-turns that happen along a journey, I think is important to pass along to the seller and let them know, the difference between me as I'm a consultant and I can, I can anticipate these things for you and we can have conversations with them ahead of the possible left turns and right turns that'll be thrown at you. So you have an ample opportunity to walk through the different solutions and be prepared to handle one of those if they do arise. And those are the kinds of conversations we're going to have together versus what you're going to have with an agent who's just selling by volume. So that's one thing that I've used to combat that. Karen, I have a question for you. Have you considered, and this has been a conversation that I've had with some of the folks on my team very recently, and it's also a conversation that I've seen a lot in the the Gary Keller Masterminds group. But I'm seeing more and more people having to combat commissions by having and I know some people do this already, but having a commission schedule. Mm-hmm. It's not something that I'm a huge advocate for because I don't want to even present a 4% option or a 5% option. But, are we missing the boat by not offering that option?
Yeah, I had that for about a minute last year. I actually had a menu of options for people to choose from. And I realized when I sort of tested it that it didn't seem to make an impact, neither here nor there. I don't even talk commission until I go through the net sheet unless they ask me ahead of time about it. Because by the time I'm done with my whole spiel and I go through the net sheet after my CMA, people just don't seem to bat an eye. So I just, keep going. And I present it to them not as 6%. I present it to them as 3.3%. I start out by explaining to them, that I don't charge 6%. I charge 3.3%. And then a buyer's agent is expected to get paid also, and that's 2.7%. And so that oftentimes people seem to get that a little bit better than they do 6%.
Karen, are you seeing or have you had any situations arise? And I bring this up only because, again, I'm on this private, and I think you might be too, but on this Gary Keller mastermind group on Facebook. And there's been a lot of talk that, and I don't think it's hitting our market yet, but I think it'll come, that standard 2.5 or 2.7 co-op payout is actually getting reduced. So agents are starting to take commissions at a lesser price, and they are charging, or their commitment to the co-op is 1 or 2%. Have you had to combat that yet at all?
No, I had one where the gal said that she was willing to do 2.5%. It was a weird situation. She used to be an agent, and she said she doesn't think buyer's agents should be paid as much as they do. She actually didn't want to pay them at all. And I finally talked her into at least 2.5, but otherwise I haven't run into that yet. People usually just go with whatever.
So that's what I'm hearing right now, but on a national level, I am hearing that there's more and more 1 and 2% payouts, or even more interesting, they're putting in their remarks that the buyer's compensation is the buyer's responsibility.
Wow.
So something interesting that may come to our market in the next year or two, but something I'm definitely seeing on a national level. So protect your commissions as you can right now, because we don't know where that's headed. But
right, I don't like that.
I know.
I've also read
Shane,
that in a number of
I'll-
articles.
I will step in and say that there's a builder in Ramsey right now paying 2%, and our office is closing several of their deals.
Yeah, this is being headed by builders, as a matter of fact. Thank you for commenting that. But I am noticing that trend, that builders are actually the ones that are sort of creating this trend, and they're paying out 1 or 2% in other parts of the country.
Yeah,
And then realtors are following suit.
Well, and as you get more rural, you'll definitely see 2.2s where it used to be 2.4s. And if you're selling over in Wisconsin, plan on a 1/4 point less.
Who in the room would sell real estate at 1% a pop? Mass exodus, I think.
That's
No,
tough.
one thing I'd like to mention is that I've had a couple conversations with, this hasn't come up too much with sellers about questioning my commission. One thing that you do have to keep in mind is if they ask you for a reduction in commission, you kind of have to think of like, how is this transaction actually going to go with this person? Is it going to be a pain in the ass, or how are they going to be throughout this whole entire transaction if they're asking you to take less money?
Fantastic.
And that's something to kind of keep in mind. So Karen, like, even though you lost $1 million listing because you didn't make a reduction, how big of a headache would it have been?
Right.
So that's why I stick to my guns as far as like, the standard 6% commission, because it's like, I am putting a lot of work into this. I just already foresee what's going to happen if you do ask me for a reduction in commission. And I've actually had, so I don't know if any of you have come across this issue where some buyers are asking for some of your commission because they want to go with you. And I've had a couple of people say that, and they said, well, I'll definitely refer you to a lot of my friends and everything like that. And I'm like, no, it's just not going to happen. I'm not going to give out a piece of my commission. And I always go back to the term of like the thing of, it's like, okay, so when you're at your job, would you give them back some of your pay if they
Right.
said, we paid you this much, but we want some of your payroll back. And I'm like,
Yeah.
just put that in frame of reference. So
Good
just kind of
point,
keep in
Joe.
mind when somebody asks you for a reduction in commission.
Yeah, where did all that start? Like, why real estate agents? They don't ask anyone else to reduce their pay. I mean, you have attorneys, you have accountants, you have all these people, and no one seems to be asking them, but for some reason they ask us.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of it is probably just like, you know, like a lot of agents who don't get a lot of business, you know, they might be doing it as a side job, or, you know, nothing against those agents or anything like that, but, you know, they're more hungry and they just think that they can just throw it up on the market and sell it. So, you know, we'll just do a reduction in commission, and, you know, it's like they're not getting the professional photographer or anything like that, you know.
Right.
Well, and I
Yeah.
think I like to add, it is this way now because of the current market, right? When this market shifts and it takes a lot more skill to list and sell and market a property, things will change. And I've noticed, I mean, obviously I'm not in production now, but I noticed, you know, starting in 2012, as things became easier and easier to sell, questions on commissions became more frequent, right? Versus a market where things are tight and there's 14,000 homes for sale and it's a 120-day average market. You know what I mean? So
I pray for that market.
right. Same here. I'm
I
ready.
think the
for a
buyers need to
correction.
slap the sellers around a little bit for a few years.
That's right. I mean, I tell my agents all the time, you know, the buyers don't have much power now, but that's going to change. And then all of a sudden the sellers will have to start giving incentives to bring offers in. I remember asking, what can I do to encourage an offer from you and your client, right? So I think the market has a lot to do with that, asking of that reduction in price, right? Anyway.
And agents will ask me, you know, what they can or can't do, what I'll approve or not. And I try to always tell someone that don't only do a reduction if you feel good about it. Don't do it if you're feeling bullied or pressured. You know, we had one where someone lost a spouse unexpectedly. They had no equity in the house. They're bringing cash to the table. Yeah, we felt good about that one.
I've always lived by the philosophy, and I tell this to my agents on my team, that you can reduce your commission when it's your plan.
Yes.
And the answer is always no when it's the seller's plan.
I like that.
Yep.
That's a good way of putting it, Shane. I want people to feel good about what they're doing, not feel like they were pressured into working for less. It won't be a happy situation for either side.
One of the things I like, Shane, that you had said too is, you know, with that commission, you know, you get what you pay for. And with that agent that's willing to reduce the price, you know, who is that agent? How experienced are they? And selling the house, that's the first step. But then you've got other things like, you know, the inspection period. You know, you need an agent that has the experience and that's a bulldog that's willing and able to fight during the inspection period and, you know, not let buyers railroad you because now they've got the accepted offer, you're more vested in it. And all of a sudden now you're going to be looking at fixing all this stuff and losing a lot of money. And you want someone that's going to negotiate on your behalf at that point too, because even though you might have gotten a great accepted offer, you still have to get through that, and you want someone that's going to really stand up for you and have the experience to know what to do, how to negotiate that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I wrote a script that I've shared with my team, and I don't know where it is. I could probably find it, but I wrote a script that just kind of based off of my own experiences and having this exact conversation and kind of pointing out the difference between, you know, what the difference is between myself and the other realtor that you're interviewing that likely is, you know, offering this lesser percentage, is that they're a real estate agent that produces by volume, and I'm a real estate consultant. I can think of, and we'll give you plenty of examples where I've actually outwitted and out-negotiated those agents that produce deals by volume only to put more money back in my seller's pocket. And so just to kind of have that confidence to let them know that, you know, you can outwit these agents and that you are a strong negotiator and that you're not going to back down. I think the confidence thing is a big deal for people making that decision, because if you really present it to them in that manner and just point blank tell them, look, I've outwitted these agents and, you know, and put money back in my seller's pocket. They don't like to hear that, you know?
Right.
So I think that just being confident and strong, and just basically not taking, you know, not accepting that commission reduction, basically. So.
Well, it's a mindset. You have to have that confidence somehow. Even if you don't have the experience, you still have to be confident that you're the right person for the job and confident that you know exactly what you're going to do once you get the listing, and to be
I
able
mean,
to
how
relay
many
that to
times
them.
have we as real professional real estate agents outwitted or outnegotiated another agent just because of their lackadaisical approach or their not knowing how to negotiate, talking too much? I mean, there's just a number of circumstances that I can think of where I completely outnegotiated somebody, and then I start to pay attention, and they are one of those agents that sell by volume and not by consulting with the client.
Exactly.
Anyway, off my high horse on that.
I like it though.
There was one, I'll have chime in here, there was one training, that might even came from you, Karen Collins. That there was one little nugget that I always come back at a seller when they want to lessen the commission. And, you know, they say this other agent will take less. And a great comeback to that is, well, if this agent is willing to take money away from their own family, how hard do you think they're going to work to keep money in your pocket?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're not willing and able to protect their own money, then how are they going to be able to protect yours?
Exactly.
That's one of my favorites. Thanks for sharing that, Jackie.
I can chime in. Not that I have a million sales under a million listings under my belt like some of y'all top producers, but one of the things that I try to come to the table with is being prepared with stories. When, you know, we've had enough listings and experiences that our client that our potential client that we're facing isn't the only one that's been in that situation. And so when you can tell a story and share that success of that story because of that they can relate to,
yep,
that moves it from just a numbers thing and a success thing. They can see the path, and it removes the numbers, and they see the process. They see the success of that process, and they see you standing with them through that path, because you're not gonna leave them alone, because you can tell that story of, no, I had a same situation just last week. We got, you know, another client in the same scenario where they're selling their townhome, they're this, they're that, she's moving away just like you are, boom, 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 boom. And when they can feel that you're with them, I think that helps negate the battle for the numbers.
That's exactly. And even if you haven't had the personal experience yourself, I always bring up my colleague had this happen. And that's why it's important to, you know, participate in Zoom meetings like this, to talk with your colleagues in the office, because you're able to find out what's happening in the market if you're not gaining that own experience yourself, and then using that and sharing that. Because I do that, you know, a lot of experiences that I share with clients, you know, with those types of concrete examples are things that my colleagues have gone through, not necessarily me. Good point, Isaac. Any other comments or questions about commission? Otherwise, Matt, you had brought up the, you know, how do I treat a cold lead versus a referral lead? I made a mistake maybe about 8 or 10 years ago. And it was a person that I had sold the house to. And so naturally, when she was ready to sell, she called me. And I went in to meet with her, and I was really lax about it. And she hired someone else.
That's why I asked, because I think we can be in danger of taking things for granted, right?
Yep. I wrote myself a note. I keep a journal. Some of you guys know this. I keep a journal of my learning opportunities. And that was one that I wrote in there. You know, never assume that you are going to get hired, even if it's a former client or a family member. I go into every single situation as if I am fighting my life for that.
Yep. That's what I thought I would hear. And I assumed at some point, just like myself, you had gone into some appointment like that, just assuming that we just kind of, you know, we're friends here and whatnot. And then things didn't work out like you thought. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, thanks for asking. Another question was the multiple agents. If you're if you know they're going to be meeting with multiple agents. One thing I learned recently is I stopped asking people, are you meeting with other agents? Because some people weren't planning to. And then when I asked them that question, they were like, oh, should I be doing that? Oh, I guess so. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't have brought that up. So I don't ask anymore. I just don't. And if I know that they are, I'll ask them, you know, when you're meeting with multiple agents, what are some things you're looking for? What do you want to hear from them? You know, what are you looking for in an agent? What would be something that you would say, okay, you know, I'm signing with you right now. And then I make sure that I meet that need.
I do the
Karen,
same.
do you set it up in your pre-qualification in your, you know, when you're setting the listing appointment, your expectation that you're coming out to sign them on?
I'm sorry, do I set
Do you set that up in your conversation on the phone when you're setting the appointment? That your intention, like I just curious if other people do this. I always set that intention. I am coming out to list your house.
Yeah.
I am coming out to sign you as a client. And even if they say, well, I'm interviewing other realtors, I always just answer with great. But I always lead with the assumption that I'm coming there to sign them on. And I never, ever ask them to sign the contract. I always ask them just to sign on with me as a client.
Yeah, I will ask. First, I'll want to make sure, like when I go meet with you today, what are you looking for? Are you actually looking to sign with someone? Are you looking just for an idea of what your home is worth? You know, are you looking to actually list this year? That's good to know. That's going to change my whole method of operation. So if they say, yeah, I mean, I'm looking to list and I'm looking to hire someone, I'm going to be meeting with multiple agents, so I'm not going to be ready to sign. Then I'll go into it saying, well, the purpose of the meeting then will be, we're going to decide right at that moment, am I someone that you're going to want to work with or not? And if the answer is yes, I would be someone that you want to work with, then I am going to ask you to sign with me.
If I know that they are meeting with other real estate agents, I usually come with my backpack and a sleeping bag. And I refuse to leave until they signed with me at that point.
Have you had to utilize the sleeping bag?
Couple times, but usually they want me gone, so they just sign and I leave.
Yep, brings a giant Doberman with him if he needs it.
When I was new to this industry, I was told it's easier to hire someone than to fire someone. So you walk into the appointment in your mind already hired.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I assume the sale. I always assume that they're just going to sign, and you know, once we go through the net sheet and if the numbers work, then I just start getting the paperwork out.
Karen, I also do the also go to kind of do the same thing as well with you. Like you know, I don't ask them if they're hiring or if they're interviewing other agents or anything like that. I just go in prepared and to assume that I'm going to be signing them that day. But I mean, one instance, this has only happened once, where I was pretty much used to where it was like they brought me in, they had me give them their opinion, and they used a family friend off of my price point that I had figured. So I mean,
I've had that.
It was just one of those things. I mean, it was only once, but it was just, I mean, I don't know if there was any other way around it without asking if they're hiring other agents, but I mean, it just, I don't know, it makes them, I just don't want to give them the idea of, oh, you're right, maybe I should be, you know, interviewing other agents.
Right.
You know, so it's kind of a fine line. It's a tricky situation.
You know, a better question might be, you know, what's your plan moving forward now?
Mm.
You know, instead of saying,
Yeah.
are you meeting with other agents? What's your plan moving forward?
Mm-hmm.
At this time, do you do a presentation electronically or in paper? Do you leave the documents or you send it by email?
That's a good question. I just send my quick summary sheet to them via email and just say, if you can read through this before we meet, that would be great. When I get to the appointment, I just want to get to know their situation, ask them questions about, you know, what their plans are, their motivation. I take a look at the house and then I do a CMA right there. The CMA, by the way, I don't overthink it. I used to get really nervous about doing CMAs. All you're doing essentially is you're just looking at homes in the area that have sold that are similar, and I do it with them. So they're looking at the pictures with me. We're deciding together what we think are good comps and why, and we decide together based on those comps what we think would be a good list price. That has been one of the best things I have learned, is to do a CMA along with them instead of presenting a CMA to them. I want them to take that ownership, and I want them to decide that that's the list price as well, because they take ownership in that. And if the home ends up selling for a different price, we're in it together. No one's going to turn around and say, you told me this and it was the wrong price or whatever.
Karen, do you
So
do
we
that
do that
before
together.
you sign them, or do you do that before you sign them, or during your presentation? And how long does that portion of it take?
So once I sit down with them, I ask them some questions about themselves. That usually takes 5 minutes just to get a feeling of their situation, another 5 minutes to walk through the house. And then I pull up comps. I show them how I find those comps. That process of looking at comps and sifting through is maybe 10 minutes. And then I say to them, okay, based on these comps, you know, what are you thinking? Okay, yep, here's what I'm thinking. So let's agree on that list price. Let's run a net sheet now on it. Let's look at the final numbers. How does that final bottom line look? It looks great. Okay, cool. Let's sign.
I do like that approach.
I want to make sure that the bottom line works for them. I always have, because if you know, I don't want any surprises. I want us to agree on that price and agree on the selling fees and all of that. That's the most important thing. If they're cool with that, then cool, let's write that on the listing agreement. Let's sign it and let's get going. So. Sorry, GJ, did that answer your question? I forgot. I got carried away.
No, yes. Yeah, that's fine. I just want to know, you know, if you do all the stuff, I assuming you do in your computer, right? You don't have any papers with you to give it to them at all. Okay.
Oh, I just did all there, except for the net sheet. We sign the net sheet and then I bring the listing paperwork with me. You know, that's the paperwork that I have. And we usually sign on the spot. And then I give them like the disclosure and a couple other things as homework.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Are we getting close? We're getting close to time here. Anything else? Questions? This is cool. I learned some stuff from you guys too. I like it.
Question, Karen, and maybe Lynn can chime in if she's still out there. You said that you do your coming soon marketing on Monday of the week that you go live. And I correct me if I'm wrong, I thought that we really couldn't do marketing around a property until like 24 hours before it goes live. I must be missing something here.
All right, so a withhold, you can only market to our market center because there's no promise of commission being advertised on the MLS yet. A withhold, you can show the property if you or the market center has a buyer ready. Once it's a coming soon, there are no showings. You cannot show the house. The market center cannot show the house, but you can advertise the heck out of it because now it's on the MLS with a posted commission. Does that make sense?
Sure. So if we're doing coming soon marketing on a Monday, we can do it to all of our Facebook groups and LinkedIn and everything.
Absolutely everything, as long as it's on the MLS as a coming soon and there is a co-op commission advertised.
Got it. Okay. Thanks, Lynn.
Yep.
All right. Anything else? Any other questions?
Nice to meet everybody.
This is Louie. This is my secret weapon.
Good morning,
Louie
guys.
is in the Philippines and has been with me for 2 years?
Yes, 2 years going, yeah.
Yep, a little
March.
over 2 years. So he is my secret weapon. He does all of my calls for me. He does all my lead follow-ups. And I just love him.
I'm a living sponge, getting all those curses from people.
600 dials a day.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Karen. You're amazing.
All right. Have
Thanks,
a great
Karen.
day, everyone.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Karen.
Bye-bye.